Okay.
Okay.
So we should be.
All right, it's good framing.
Is it a good frame?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Boating Europe. We're live on YouTube, and we're going to talk about our trip circumnavigating Europe on a lifeboat. Anna, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm Portuguese. I'm an architect, and I've just started this Boating Europe trip with Hamish 3 years ago.
Okay, I got the boat. I'm Hamish Campbell. I got the boat 7 years ago and spent many years getting ready, and then finally left with Anna. She sailed across the channel. I got seasick. She drove the boat, and we've been going ever since and reached the Black Sea. So, what's the questions from our
We have a few questions from two of our Patreons, and then some friends of ours as well just posted some. We are going to start with the Patreon ones.
Okay, Laura
Paiva,
Okay,
the one
Portuguese.
Portuguese Patreon.
Okay. What was the hardest part, Anna?
The hardest part is not being able to stop whenever we want for a coffee on the big rivers. I mean, in France it's fine, but when you get to the Danube and the Rhine, just impossible. So that can be a bit tiring.
Yeah, the not being able to stop, because sometimes there's just nowhere to moor up and you just can't stop. So you just have to keep going. So yeah, it's one of the issues. What did you enjoy the best?
What did I enjoy the best? Well, wake up every morning, not knowing where I'm going to end in the same day. That's quite interesting. That's quite exciting.
Yeah. I enjoyed there was when we got down to the lower Danube, there was this white sand desert islands everywhere. We moored up on these islands and just had a desert island experience like pirates. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
So this tablet, of course, keeps turning off. Okay, Neil Brickwood.
Another one of our patrons.
Do you think you'll be able to do the full length of the Danube single-handed in a 40-foot Dutch barge?
That is for you, Hamish.
Technically, yes. In reality, probably not. Firstly, there's a lot of flow on the Danube, so when you're coming into mooring up, you've got to use the engine to stay in place, and then you need a second person to throw and tie the ropes. So that would be an issue. You could probably get around it by staying in marinas and clubs all the time, but that would very much restrict where you could stop. So that would be stressful and potentially dangerous. Second point would be...
Well, we did meet someone that was doing it single-handed, but he was doing it in a much smaller boat. It was a French guy, German guy.
Yeah.
He was doing it in an aluminium boat, right?
A flat-bottom
skip.
skip.
Bottom, yeah. So he was doing it on his own, but in a completely different type of boat. So
yes. Yeah.
Makes it a bit easier.
So technically possible, but would we recommend it? Probably not. Get a crew. It's a big adventure. Somebody will want to do it with you. What are the most challenging part of the Danube?
Most challenging. What was our most challenging part of the Danube? Well, you need to skip all the fast boats and
navigating around the big ocean, the big liners. They would come past at speed. The wash would really knock your boat about. Would be crashing. The speedboats were a disaster on all the big rivers. They'd zoom up to you, making a huge wash, and then turn away after they had a look, and you'd be smashed by this wash, and coffee pots and everything would crash everywhere. And you'd swear at them, and they'd wave as if you're waving to them happily. No, I'm swearing at you.
Well, we're actually telling them, we're actually making them a sign like stop or slow down, and they actually wave at us. So.
Okay. Any special provisions you recommend on board?
For the Danube, just have some food for a few days, some dry food, because it's not easy to stop the whole time, and sometimes when you stop, it's actually in the middle of nowhere. So if you stop in the middle of nowhere, we did happen before. We stopped in a marina, and then it was literally the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. When I was on the Medway, I picked up a load of ballast for the boat because she's very rocky, and I bought boxes of tins of tomatoes. 70 tins of tomatoes and tomato soup, and I put these under the bed. There's ballast, and it's useful stuff when you get stuck for a few days without being able to get to land. Sort of a good couple of days, a week supply of dry food under the bed
Lots
is
of
good.
pasta and rice. Yeah.
Roger Middleton asks wind turbine, power and energy. Wind turbines, we have one on the boat. I bought one maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I've only put it up twice, and actually it hasn't generated much energy each time. Wind turbines only work in special circumstances, and the solar panels in the summer put out so much power that you don't need the power. So if we were staying on the boat over winter, which we haven't done, we would have needed wind turbines. We would have tried it, and it might have generated some power. But in general, no, I don't recommend wind turbines for boats. Hope your engine is over 50 horsepower or more to dodge the big barges. Did we need to dodge the big barges?
Not really. We just need to keep an eye out. We just need to. It's two of us, so it's easy. One drives, the other one keeps an eye out, and we may actually need to dodge small boats, small speed boats, not the big barges. Big barges just need to go for it. If you turn right, you just show clearly that you are turning right, and make sure that you stick with the right. Don't change your mind.
And on the big rivers, they have blue boards, which are these things, they boards they put up, and if you watch them, then the barge is going to go on the other side of them. The first time we saw this, we knew about it in theory, but the first time we saw it, we thought we could go on the inside of this barge. It's not a problem. He's huge. The river's big. But then we were playing chicken. We were coming directly on the closer we get, and he was coming straight for us. And he had this blue board. Oh fuck, we can't go on the inside. So we had to do a turn and go round him. And actually, we learned that the big barges don't get out the way.
Yes.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're on the wrong side of the river. It's fine. You get used to it. You know, we were blasé towards the end, but a really sharp lookout and make sure.
The beginning is confusing.
Work out where the barge is going to go. Work out a way to get round them every time you see a big barge coming. Sometimes you have two in front, another one come behind, and then speedboats zooming in and out. Sometimes it gets pretty chaotic, and you're saying someone's rushing from side to side, checking what they're all doing. But you get used to it. That's another reason to have two people on board, because one driving, one looking out. Very important. Randy Von Eck, from one of our friends from Canada, I believe, Vancouver. Have you considered Russian waters? Yes, the original plan was to do the Don and the Volga. But in Vienna we tried to sort out visas for Russia, and what happened?
Well, we were told that Amish, because he's British, he would get a maximum 1 month visa. I, because I'm Portuguese, I could get a 3-month visa. So either way, it wouldn't work for us. We need more than that.
It would be an extra 2 years to do the Don and the Volga. We'd do a lovely adventure, and maybe we still do it, but we'd have to work out how to do the visas.
Yeah, and we have as well we would have to go through Crimea, which is a conflict area at the moment. Yeah.
And actually, if you leave the Ukraine and come back again, you get arrested because they don't recognise the international border. So it's all a little complicated, a little fragile. So we decided not to do it. We're going to go up to the Dnieper River, up into Kiev, and then turn into Poland, which was our alternative route. Jonathan Trainer. What is the nearest point to Little Venice? And he doesn't mean Little. In London, there's a place called Little Venice, and everyone's asking where the nearest water point is, and Elson. But of course, he doesn't mean that. He means Little Venice.
It's Venice.
Venice. Yeah. But of course, you can't actually get to Little Venice on the inland waterways of Europe because. You can't get to Venice on the inland waterways because there's the Alps, so there's no actual canals to Venice. The place you think of all the canals, you can't actually get there on a canal boat. You have to go by sea.
Well,
which is a long voyage.
You could go down the Rhone all the way to the Mediterranean and then by sea.
Okay, I've lost the thing, so you have to. Okay, back again. Okay, Jane Hancock.
An epic journey like this must have taken a lot of planning. How do your actual challenges compare to what you planned for? So, was there lots of planning, Amish?
Yeah, there was a lot of planning. What was that? We got a notification? I'm not sure what it is. No. Okay, so if you feel free to ask questions, and they'll pop up on the thing where I can answer them live. When I bought the boat, actually, I did plan this European trip actually before I even bought the boat. And it's interesting that I actually then went and did it 7 years later. I've been planning 2 years before I went out on the Thames, and then I would expand. I went down to the Medway, I went to the sea, and then I got Anna on board, and then I was brave enough to do the Channel and head across to Europe. We had a very long list, about this long, and I did half of it, and then if I would have carried on doing the list, I never would have left. So we left with the boat half done.
Well, we are kind of doing it on the way, right? On the way we've built our kitchen.
Yeah.
And we've built our plumbing. We have running water now on the boat, which we didn't when we left.
Because when we originally got the boat, it only had 61 seats on it, nothing else, absolutely nothing else. Okay, and of course the list of questions has disappeared.
Again.
Okay, next
and
one.
then the other question from Jane was, how good is the information available for our route?
It's very bad, very patchy. You can find out lots of information on the internet, but a lot of it actually isn't true, especially stuff in forums. It's, it's 19, there's a 1% chance it might affect you and 99% it won't. There's a lot of information. So I did lots of thinking and prep for stuff which actually we didn't really need.
Lots of stories.
Lots of stories
about
yes.
things that can go wrong,
Yes.
and then we go through the places and it doesn't happen.
There's no problems whatsoever.
No problems.
We had very few problems on the trip in general. It's really straightforward, just keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And well, there are a few countries that are a bit more prepared. Austria, for instance, they had an amazing app for the Danube, where you can see what is happening with water levels, if the locks are opening, if they're not opening. So Austria is quite good in terms of information. But apart from that, you just go for it. Just follow the boys.
Avoid the big barges.
For the big barges.
And final question, I think it's from Jess.
Yes.
What are the services like for boaters? Are they less than we're used to in the UK? And the answer to that is it depends on the country. I can talk about France. In France, it's much like the UK. There's a lot of canals and there is a lot of infrastructure. Pretty much every lock has a water point. But the infrastructure was maybe set up 10, 20 years ago and a lot of it's derelict. We found a shower at one point and had a nice hot shower. True. France is actually quite an easy life for boaters. Once you get into Germany and Austria, it becomes more difficult.
It's much more regulated. The rivers are bigger as well, so you cannot stop anywhere. You have to stop in marinas or you anchor.
There's a load of boat clubs basically. You have to. I think legally, I think you can only stop in boat clubs in Germany and Austria.
Yeah.
But we anchored a lot in offshoots from the rivers, which was nice.
Yeah, and a few city moorings. We did find a few city moorings, but not that many.
And then down to Eastern Europe, the infrastructure kind of disappears.
The infrastructure just reduces, and the few boat clubs that exist are very expensive. Yes. They see a boat with the British flag and they just ask you. They just charge us three times
the price of you'll be paying in Northern Europe, which is madness.
Yeah. So in Eastern Europe, we end up just doing pirate moorings. We stop during the day in a city mooring. We go off to buy some shopping, stop for an hour, and then we just leave and we anchor somewhere.
A lot of anchoring.
The river. Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure where we got water from. I think the occasional marina stop we'd top up with water.
I would go to have my coffee, and I would take empty bottles of water with me, and I would fill sneakily on the toilet to tap the bottles of water. So that's how we got the majority of our water. Yeah.
So those are the questions pre-prepared. Any comments? If you press a comment, it will pop up in here, and you can answer it live. I see we have 5 people watching and 1 like. Come on, like this stream, you guys, and ask a question. Maybe we could just chat about next. What's next?
Okay, next we are going to start coming back to the UK. We did all the way from London to the Black Sea. The boat is currently out of the water 10 kilometers from the Black Sea. Next year we'll go up to the Danube Delta and then start to come back. So we are going to start our way back.
So we reckon it's going to take us 2 years to get back. It was 3 years to get out there and 2 years back. So 5-year trip, not bad. Good for a voyage.
So keep posted, just check us out on Instagram. That's where we usually post our daily pictures when we have some network. And
there's a Facebook page called Boating Europe. There's a YouTube site. All the YouTube videos are currently on visionontv, but we might set up a specific YouTube channel because we're going to put out 21 episodes of edited video, which is a huge undertaking. It's going to take 2 years to do that, and it's going to take funding. So if any of you want to become Patreons, we're going to start putting out the first video, which I'm currently editing slowly now, when we get up to 50 Patreons. We've got 10 so far, so if you want to see exciting videos talking about all the information about how we did this trip and all the places we visited on the way, we've got hundreds of hours of footage. We had 5 cameras rolling most of the time. Everything you've seen so far on social media came from our phones, so there's another 3 cameras, professional cameras, etc., which you haven't seen yet. So join the Patreon, support Boating Europe, and look out for new videos coming soon.
And thank you for the ones that have been supporting us until now.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is why we're doing these live streams now, and actually we're putting out regular videos of our time in London because we're being supported by some Patreons. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Where's the stop button, Anna? It's an iPhone.